And welcome back to GBS Morning Extra. If you are just joining us, as I mentioned to you earlier, today we are joined by a very special guest. And the reason I'm saying they're special, I'm going to reveal that to you in a minute. But then all over the world, countries and people are battling the COVID-19 or the coronavirus, if you may. But then at this moment, this virus emanated or began in the eastern part of the world. We are talking about China. And to be more specific, the other day we had a guest in our studio, Bwana Kamau, who is a student in Wuhan, China, who painted a picture of what Wuhan is like and gave us, a lot of stories that if you listened to him, then you would wonder what we've been hearing. And it is because of that we have made it our business here in GBS just to try and engage Kenyans in diaspora and get a feel, a first-hand experience of what they are facing in their individual countries wherever they are. And today I'm really glad to be joined by three very beautiful ladies who are joining me from the United States of America. I'll introduce them to you. We have Lorna D. Were, who is a doctor in Maryland State. And we also have Hilda, who is in New York. And we have Tish Obel, who is in Massachusetts. Well, I hoped to get that pronunciation right. Tish will tell me that once she comes on here. Now, let's begin with Lorna. Lorna, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm very fine, Lorna. How are you doing? You're looking good.
Oh, thank you. It's actually late at night, so I must be doing good, looking this good.
And
right?
I'm really apologetic about that. Sorry for keeping you up so late.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah, Lorna, maybe you can just tell us about your state. How are things in the state that you're in?
So I'm actually in Maryland, and Maryland is in the East Coast. So we border Washington, D.C. from one side. We have Delaware on the other side. We have Pennsylvania, and we're also close to Virginia. So, we are very close to the capital where everything is happening. But here in Maryland, and I'm in the medical field too, like you have mentioned. So we have seen cases of the virus, but we didn't have such a big surge. We are taking all the precautions. Of course, we are a shutdown right now. We have been since sometime early March. So we haven't been going to work. Most of us are working from home. We are still able to go out, go to the stores. A lot of common places are closed. We are social distancing.
All right.
But it is not bad that life has stopped right now.
Yeah, sure. Because when I'm looking at the numbers on the latest updates, we have about 19,487 confirmed cases, about 1,263 recovered cases. That's, I would say, a lot. And the death toll stands at 858. Not very much compared to the other two states, I would say.
Yeah, you're very right. And we have a lot of confirmed cases because we're doing mass testing in Maryland right now. So because we're getting ready for opening, actually.
Okay. Well, allow me also to bring in another lady before I engage you further. I would like to bring in Hilda from New York State. Hilda, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
How have you been?
I'm fine, thank you. And
right.
How about?
We are doing fine. We haven't seen such a huge heat like you guys, but then we are hoping that God help us. We, take precautions, learn from you guys, because you went ahead of us in terms of coming face to face with this pandemic. Maybe you can just paint a little bit of a picture. What is your state like at this time?
Actually, my state is the one that has been hit so hard.
Yes.
New York has got it really good. But they are hanging in there. They are trying their best. They are trying to do what they have to do. Our governor has been working so hard.
Sure.
He doesn't sleep morning, day, night. He doesn't sleep fighting for his people. Right now, they are planning to open up by next month 15th.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about. So people are being told all the time. We have been wearing masks, going out. We don't have to go out. If you have nothing to do, we stay away 6 feet from each other. We just listen to the government. What they say, that's what we follow. Because when you go out there, you don't know who has been affected and who is not affected. So just being cautioned. So when people go out, they wear their masks, gloves, anytime they go out.
Sure. And I mean, like you said, New York has been, I would say the most hit or the worst hit state in the United States of America. I was checking up the numbers with about 162,000 confirmed cases, 30,728 recovered cases, and we have a death toll of about 12,800, which I would say, I mean, according to media reports, have surpassed the death toll in China.
Actually, that's about it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, sure. Well, let me bring in Tish Obel from Massachusetts. Tish, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Is it good morning? Yeah, good morning.
It's good morning, both sides, I would say for now, right? Or you guys are still behind?
No, it's good morning, I think.
You're already past 12, yeah?
Yes.
How are you doing?
We are hanging in there, as Hilda said. With this, I think this thing has touched everybody, not just Massachusetts alone.
Sure.
Yeah, so we are trying to be safe. We are trying to stay at home as much as possible. Yes.
How are the activities there? How are the authorities also responding? I know governments everywhere right now are doing all that they can to, just try and bend the curve. But then how is the government, in your own observation, how is the government doing the measures that it's putting in place to just see to it that we don't see, a spread of the virus?
Personally, I would say I really appreciate what our governor has done. He's been working. It's amazing. He's been working like the government of Massachusetts is really at work because they have, in as much as they don't have enough testing, but they're doing the mass testing, as Dr. Lorna said.
Yeah.
And then they are also standing by the people because we are very hard hit. I think after New York, we are like trailing behind.
Sure.
Because we had a surge, and our surge was like starting from April 18.
Yeah.
But the government has stood with their people, and we have support. So many people have lost their job. Like you can't believe, we have like 650,000 people nearly who has applied for unemployment.
That's a huge number.
Yeah, that's a very huge number, but we thank God because the government has stood with everybody, and we are lucky. We are not like in Kenya, like Kenya Power and Lighting. At least our source companies, they're studying with the people.
All right.
They say there's no like chopping off electricity or gas,
right.
At this time, because they are assuming that we are going through like worst moments.
Sure.
Yes, but we have been hit so far between April 18th and to now. We moved from 29,000 to 58,000 cases. So. But we are being told our time for opening was supposed to be in May 4th, but they're not going to open. The governor said that they're going to do it maybe May 18th. And we are just advised, as Hilda said, that if you don't have anything to go and do outside, stay at home. and we listen to the government, we follow the government. It's not like back home. Like the government is the voice. When they say something, because they're the ones who know, like,
what's really going on.
Yes, and the safety of the citizen, they really are concerned of the safety of the citizen. So.
Sure. And it's quite encouraging to see and also to hear. I mean, it's really heartwarming. I believe that those people who are watching this show and know you guys are really glad to see you, because there's all these kind of reports that come from outside, and whatever we are seeing in the media always shows us the bad part, and they don't always. I mean, the international media wouldn't find even time to focus on how Kenyans living in the States are doing at this moment. And I believe that it's a great relief for most of us watching you guys there and hearing that you guys are well and okay, and that you're comfortable and happy with what the government is doing. I'd like to bring you in, Lorna. Lorna, I would like to engage you on a little bit of a different platform. Lorna, you are a doctor and you're handling these cases. As a practitioner, I would like to just get a feel and your own personal view, your own personal experience dealing with people who are suffering from this condition.
Thank you for your question. So one thing that we have to understand is our system is very different. Everybody, the access to healthcare here is great. So those who are sick, those who are feeling symptomatic, we are able to get them in, get them tested immediately. And, they're getting very good treatment, very good care. We are well equipped. You guys have probably been following the media and seen that our government has been sourcing any and everything that we tend to need.
Sure.
In the beginning, it was a bit difficult because we had a shortage of ventilators, PPEs at one point, but, they really worked hard and we fought on very well. So we are seeing quite a good recovery rate, as you probably mentioned the numbers before, just because we are really catching it on time.
Yes.
So basically, I practice outpatient for the most part. So we are the first line. When the patient is feeling bad, we are the first ones to see them or to hear from them. So like just today, I sent a patient into the emergency room for something different. But they ended up testing her for COVID because that's how cautious now they are.
Sure.
They're trying to test as many people as they come across. So, I would say that it's very stressful in the healthcare field now, especially those who are feeling the most stress are the nurses. The nurses who are working on the floors are the ones that are doing all the work are very stressed. I have a good friend who has actually deployed to New York to go and help because the need was great there. So a lot of people went down there to help. And from what I get from her as the nurse, because we limit going in and out of this room just because so not too many people can be exposed, but the nurse has a lot to do in the room. So the nurses are, they're the doctor's eyes in there, they do the housekeeping stuff, they're doing a lot, and they also make sure that the patient has everything. So on the healthcare provider side, it's a lot of stress on them, especially the nurses that are, like I said, are doing the work.
Yes.
So we are getting there. The main surge has probably passed, and right now we're just stabilizing so that we can open backup.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's the same back at home. I mean, the nurses are doing a lot of work, and they're always there. Some of them work a week's shift and then go, have a rest for about 5 days. And in some cases, they're not even allowed to go back to their homes. They first have to, lodge at some place where they have been actually designated to just try and also keep their families safe from contracting the same. How is the system there in terms of nurses who are working the shifts? How are they, how are they doing the shifts, and how is their interaction with their family members? They should be missing their family members if the shifts are long.
Yeah, it's quite quite a bit. You know, I've talked to a couple of people who are working the field, and there are people who are now not going back home from work. You know, either, you know, a lot of people have sent their kids away to other family members to limit exposure. Those who are being deployed to these high areas, of course, they're not taking their families with them, but, you know, the companies are putting them up in hotels. So they're interacting with just fellow nurses and not too many people. So, you know, it's up to you to really limit contact. You know, I was reading some joke on social media where someone was joking that if you see somebody undressing outside the home, no, it's a nurse coming from work.
Oh.
So, you know,
they don't want to carry the clothes in there.
Yeah, you don't want to go in the house with the clothes that you brought from work. So it's, you know, it's using discretion and just doing what's best for you and your family.
Sure, sure. Maybe I would like to engage Hilda at this juncture. Hilda, your state have actually been, you know, named as one of the states, actually the state that has been worst hit. Maybe just paint a picture for us. How are families coping there? How is your family coping there? How are you guys doing?
Yeah, it is hard for families, but still, they still have to cope with the situation. They still have to take precautions, even though it brings a lot of anxiety, but they still try their best to deal with it because they don't want to be infected and they don't want to infect anybody.
Sure.
So they're trying as much as they can to stay away from getting infected. So families are trying their best to cope with the situation. Hopefully one day or it's gonna be fine.
Soon enough.
So they're trying their best. Even though sometimes it's difficult, people don't want to listen, you know, as a human being, you know, how I work with the homeless shelter.
All right.
And as a director of social services, it becomes so hard to deal with them because sometimes they feel that they are so much put inside, they need to go out, but I fight with them, even wearing a mask is something. But still we have to let them know that it is dangerous to get out there. If they can be infected or they can infect other people.
Sure.
So I go to work every day, but I don't meet them. I do my over the phone. So it's kind of sometimes very difficult when we have to deal with that kind of population here because in New York there is a lot of homelessness people. We are facing that. There are so many, and dealing with them is becoming a little bit difficult. But we try our best to try not to get them
exposed,
educated, to take it serious.
Okay.
How serious it, and we must let them know. Every day we must update them what is going on because sometimes they don't take their time to listen or to watch news. So, but we try our best because we also don't want to be infected.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I do agree with you. And even at home here, I see different, you know, county governments and also the national government, you know, grappling and also trying to contain them because even here in Nairobi, we've got especially a lot of street families. But then these are people who are accustomed to their freedom and trying to tell them to be confined to an area and not allow them to go out. I totally do, you know, feel what you're talking about. Let me bring in Tish into the conversation. Tish, I mean, the system of education there is, I would say, has a better laid infrastructure than what we have at home. Having kids there, how is it like having kids and the schools closed and everything? How are you coping? I mean, the whole army is at home right now.
Okay, that's I can say that the system of education, yes, is good, and with this pandemic, I think all the states of America they've really tried to engage in online learning, starting from my son is in the kindergarten, so starting from kindergarten they are doing online, and those who don't have they give they give you like the laptops to do their work and all that, but I can say that as parents and in this country you have to work and pay your bills and you have to be on your toes.
Sure.
And it's challenging to us because at some point I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling them, I don't know when this coronavirus is going to end so that the teachers can take back their kids.
So the teachers can take back their kids?
Yeah.
Really, Tish? They're not yours. I mean, we're so accustomed to having the children spend more hours in school than they do,
Yes.
I mean, than we do spend with them at home because we go to work and maybe come back later. Isn't that a challenge also parenting at this time of the COVID-19?
It's a challenge because you can imagine me going to work and coming back and teaching my 5-year-old, and his concentration is not going to be there, and
Yep.
he's going to be like and sweet, and at some point you're like, okay, just leave that, don't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And also it's for example, for instance, myself, my daughter, she was a senior, and they're really affected because there's a system in America of when you're graduating high school, it's a very big event.
Yep.
High school graduation, and before the graduation there's a prom, and there's this slogan that we started encouraging them because it is like for her, she's an April kid. So she's born in April, so it's like no birthday, no prom, no graduation. So
Oh,
yeah.
I really
So,
feel for her.
yeah, but the government actually the first thing that the government shut down were the schools
Yep.
because they're so sensitive with their kids being affected or being exposed to anything.
Sure.
So in our state they shut down schools completely in 17th of March. So and then now they're not going back to school until the next term. So we have a challenge as parents, and mostly those parents who are like working parents like myself. It's a big challenge because you have to come back home and do not just homework but a full syllabus that you need to do with your kids, and it's not easy.
And having said that, it's also not very safe at this moment to try and maybe get a nanny to come watch the kids or do some chores while you're away because you don't know who they are going to get into contact with.
It's also very expensive to get a nanny because it's not like home where you can get a nanny and you just pay, But now you can imagine if it's somebody like a parent who was doing either 2 jobs,
Sure.
or you're doing either 8 hours, and at this time most of the people their hours are shortened or maybe second job is not there. So
Sure.
a nanny here you pay them per hour, so not everybody can afford a nanny.
Yeah, it's going to cost you.
Yes.
Maybe if I bring in Dr. Lonawere. Dr. I would like to engage you on a different platform at this time. Right now, people are really worried, and I don't know about you, but even in Kenya, I've had interaction with a few doctors, and there was quite a lot of concern about the safety of, the doctors and the nurses more than, other people, because they come into contact, like you mentioned. You guys are the first line of defense. Was there some point where you had worry? Are you worried, or how is the situation for medical practitioners there?
We're very worried. We've actually lost a good number of us to the disease. As you know, medical professionals, we're very passionate people about our work.
Yes.
So when this happened and a lot of people were dying, especially in the beginning of it, everybody was jumping in to help. People were taking a lot of risk even when there was not enough PPEs. So right now in the inpatient setting, we are seeing a lot of medical professionals now, admitted, sick, and suffering with it because they were exposed,
Sure.
trying to help other people. So we are still, we are still at risk. We are doing the best we can. And we're always encouraging people to pray for us because,
Sure.
prayer goes a long way, but of course we have to take our precautions. But, we are very much at risk. Like I told you earlier, we're the first person to meet the patient when they're not feeling well.
Yes.
So, they might have been exposed and they're still in the asymptomatic phase. So, that's the time they can still infect you.
Sure. And maybe just to ask you, I'm really curious to know about this. Was there some point, I mean, when this thing was still new, there was a lot of speculation about it. I mean, I was talking to the guy in Wuhan, and he told me people were literally scared because there's a lot of misinformation that was going around. Some people said it was airborne. Some people, said it was waterborne. I mean, there are all these theories about it. In the beginning, when this coronavirus first began and when it reached the States, what was your reaction as an individual? I mean, as a person, what was your reaction? Was there a point when you were scared and worried about it?
Yeah, we were very scared because down here we have the flu season. And, if you had the misconceptions in the beginning, people were saying when the weather gets warm, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
Because that's what the flu does during the winter months. We see a lot of flu cases, and then when it gets warm, it goes away. So because it was timely, it came in the winter. Most of us thought it was just another respiratory infection that comes with winter will go away.
Yes.
But then we noticed that it was spreading so fast, and then people started dying. And there was not so much understanding because it was presenting differently. There are people who would have just GI symptoms.
Yes.
There are people who would go into respiratory distress and decline really fast. Someone would walk in, I'm short of breath, the next day they are gone. So there was so much fear and anxiety over it that escalated so fast that, the light touch that we thought about it. And that's when things started closing so fast, closed schools, started working from home.
Yes.
It moved too fast. And if you remember, just back in February,
Yes.
the U.S. shipped a lot of supplies to China because, that was a Chinese virus.
Yeah,
So,
according to
we
somebody.
were helping them. It was going to stay in China and go away.
Yes.
2 months later, we were here scrambling for the same thing
Sure.
because, it's something that really catches people unawares. And at some point, I did a clip for KTN News just to warn Kenyans about this. And our fear was just the same way it really caught us unaware. We could be happy in Kenya today, and then the next day is 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 cases. God forbid we won't get there, but we really just have to be really careful with it.
Sure. As a parent, how are you doing there? I mean, are you finding difficulties, handling the army there at home? I mean, guys are not going to school right now, and the house is...
I'm suffering, but not as much as Tish.
Yes.
Because Tish baby is much younger. Mine is 14.
Oh,
So he's
that's
able
manageable.
to do a lot on his own.
Yeah,
Even though we are homeschooling, when they're that older, they're able to do much on their own, and they have very little hours of class right now. He does like 2 hours here and there.
All right.
So all I do is now supervision. So we keep praying for Tish. He's gonna grow up.
Yeah, we should pray for Tish. Hilda, I'd like to bring you in, Hilda. How are you coping yourself? I mean, we've had Tish's experience, and also Dr. Lorna is a bit relieved because she's dealing with a 14-year-old.
Yeah, in my case, I would say my children are grown. They can do. They are independent. They can cook. They can wash their clothes. So I'm not so worried about because they can take care of themselves. So just worried about we still coming along.
Tish, everybody seems to be worried about you. How is Barry doing? I mean, is he such a handful?
He's the biggest thing that has been deprived from them is their social life. So that has just been taken away from them. You can imagine they're not going to school and they cannot even go outside.
Sure.
So they cannot go away like 100 meters from. There are other people who you can see with their kids in the stores,
All right.
but it's very risky.
Mhm.
So for me, I just have I always say it's better to be safe than to be sorry.
Yeah.
So it's the policy of you cannot go 100 meters from the from the building. So not even going to the parks, because you go to the parks and people are not wearing masks. So
Sure. Sure.
it's better you just
So Barry
Yeah.
has to burn all that energy within the confines of the wall there at home.
we are doing exercise. We are doing push-ups.
Oh, interesting. I mean, that's another thing as well. In Kenya, we haven't reached at that point where we have to be, like totally confined. How are you guys doing, like, with your physical exercise, stretching, and so on and so forth?
What I can say is that most of us, like me, Hilda, and Lorna, we are essential workers. Yeah, so
so you
we
go
are
out.
able to move. Yeah, we are able to move. But if you want to do exercise, you just jump or you dance. I don't know how. I don't know how.
You do some
Dr.
Zumba.
Lorna is, yes, I don't know how Dr. Lorna is doing. But at this time, there are no gyms are closed, so you just improvise.
Well, ladies, I'll have to take a very short break. But then when I come back after the break, there's an initiative that you ladies talked to me about that I would like us also to mention and also to look at. You guys, I understand you've got a beautiful initiative that is going on back at home, that you guys are sending some aid for flood victims. I'd like us to touch on that. Viewer, if you're just joining us, today we have three very beautiful and interesting guests, very special, I would say. We have Dr. Lorna Diwere, who is joining us from Maryland. We have Hilda, who is joining us from New York. And also we have Tisha Bell, who is joining us from Massachusetts. And the ladies have been sharing with us their experience in the States. And I mean, it's quite a relief to hear from Kenyans in the States and also to know that they are doing well. Well, we do take a short break right now, but when we come back, we still got more, and we're also going to share with you what these beautiful ladies are doing back at home at these difficult times. So we take a short break. We'll be right back. And welcome back to GBS Morning Extra. If you're just joining us, today we are joined by very beautiful three ladies from the United States, and they've been sharing with us their experience, and it's been quite a wonder. We've got Dr. Lorna Diwere from Maryland, we've got Hilda from New York, and we've got Tish Obel from Massachusetts. Before the break, they were sharing with us, of course, their experience with the COVID-19 and how the situation is there. And we also agreed that after the break, we are going to talk about an initiative that these beautiful ladies are engaged in back here at home. And before we engage in that, let's first watch this video and take a listen. Well, quite interesting there, viewer. And yeah, that's where I bring in one of our guests this morning to explain to us about this initiative. It is known as Louis II Operation. Well, she will tell us more about the operation and how they began the initiative. Let me bring in Hilda. Hilda, maybe you can just tell our viewers a little bit about the initiative and what informed the formation of the initiative.
Asking a question about the initiative, right? This is something that I came up with a year ago for women living in the United States. So it came to my mind that I needed us to be together, being that Luo, they have their own culture, and also we needed to share our own, culture with each other, and also to support each other, socially as together, right? And also to learn from each other.
Yes.
We came to this country, people are in different fields, and maybe we can share and also know what is going on in the United States. Sometimes I can be here earlier than somebody else.
Sure.
But then they might have some information to help each other. So we came together so that we can sit down and socialize and learn from each other, and also extend our hands back home to help with whichever, like the floods that came in, and we thought about it. So otherwise, what we are doing so far, we have done so far is benevolent, which has been helping us a lot too. Because sometimes we think that when we are here back home, you lost a loved one, and getting an air ticket is something else. Sometimes you cannot even afford an air ticket, and here comes death in the family, and you have to go. So we felt that coming together and support each other and put the money together would help the bereaved to do 1, 2, 3. So it is something that we have been doing, and now we are thinking of extending hands too.
All right.
So, yeah.
Maybe if I may just bring in one of the ladies. Tish, what has been your experience in terms of, as you take part in the, you call it Louis II? Luo women in the United States.
Luo women in the United States.
In the United States. How have your experience been joining this initiative?
The initiative has been very good. It has we have seen Luo ladies being supported, not just financially or in the bereavement purposes, but also in passing out knowledge, educating each other, and as when the way the challenge of coming into this country, you're a new person in a new country.
Yes.
So when you find an initiative like this, the ladies will stand with you, that will boost you, like they will help you be on your feet with your family, and that's why the initiative started. And as it is right now, in the middle of pandemic, I think that our biggest achievement for now is the Kano floods. And I think I'm not gonna say so much because we don't have so much time. So I'm just gonna push that to Dr. Lorna to explain like how we have gone about with the Kano floods, because somebody reached out. We just saw it on social media, and we felt like, yes, we have this pandemic, and what are we gonna do as ladies who are in the diaspora?
Sure. Dr. Lorna, if you don't mind, you can just come in right away and maybe just take that bit which Tish left for you.
Okay, great. So Luo Women in the United States is an organization, and people all over the U.S. So it's one organization that really thrives in the power of social media.
Yes.
So we were in the middle of this great pandemic, this COVID-18, and we have our sisters who were affected, who were sick at that time, who were supporting in different ways. But then the social media started flooding with pictures of people who are really in distress within Kano because of the flood.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the response wasn't great from our local government and all that. So we decided to come together and use the power of the dollar to see what we can do. So far we've been distributing food within Kano. We've distributed to many places. We have done that since last week, Thursday.
All right.
We've reached a lot of people, and we actually had food that was delivered even yesterday, and today we are still going to be hitting some camps. So it's a lot of people living in camps, people suffering.
Sure.
So we are still pleading to anybody who can help, but we are reaching out as Luo Women in the United States.
Well, I would say, like they say back at home, Kanyakla. I mean, the strength of unity.
Yes.
To our viewers who don't understand, Kanyakla is, working together. It's like, it's an equivalent word for Harambe, pulling together. Why only women? Tish, where are the men, Luo men living in the United States?
I can't talk on behalf of Luo men, but what I can say is that I think women, everywhere you go, I think so many challenges. I can say so many challenges. Women face the challenges maybe 75 or 60%. So that's why women have become smarter now. Like, let's go ahead of this, Yeah. So what are we gonna do? Let's go ahead of our challenge and come together. And by the time we get the challenge, at least I will not be alone. Yeah. So I cannot talk on behalf of men, but as you know, always wanaume wanawachonga nyuma, so.
Really? I won't take offense on that. I'll pass that. Maybe if I just bring in Hilda, as we share our closing remarks. Hilda, I mean, the initiative, so far, how many people has the initiative managed to reach, to the best of your knowledge?
To reach
in the Kano floods.
We have reached about 4 camps because they have different numbers. Like we have different camps with their own numbers, 400, some camps 600, some camps 1,000.
All right.
So, but we tried our best to reach the much we can.
Okay. So you guys are just doing food stuff alone, or you're also extending into, other necessities like blankets and so on and so forth?
Now we have done foods and the blanket is in the process.
All right.
So that one is coming too. So.
Yeah.
Tish, I can bring you in also. Maybe you can just also add on to that.
Yeah, we were doing food, and then the people they were like if we can do more, because they don't have a place to. They may have some place to sleep on the floor or something, but they don't have something to cover themselves.
Sure.
So we are extending the initiative because, as Lorna said, the power of the dollar. So when you translate the power of the dollar home and here, so we are like this initiative is if a lady can stand in for either 2 or 3 blankets, so that's what we are starting right now.
How many members do you have right now in the States? Of how many Luo women in the States have joined this initiative, estimately?
Estimate is about, Lorna, is it about 1,000 and something?
It's about 1,800 members in the group.
Oh, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
Quite interesting, and also hopeful to see that our women, I don't want to insist so much on that, our Luo women are doing so well and bring their heads together, Kanyakla, to try and solve some of the problems, not just there, but also back at home. Lorna, maybe your closing remarks as we finish, because I think we're up, our time is up, and I would like to say goodbye to you ladies, but I'd like to have you here some more, but it's time to let you go. We start with you, Lorna, your closing remarks on the same.
I first of all want to just thank you for having us and giving us a chance to give Kenyans a picture of what's going on here. I just want to reassure everybody that we are safe. We are doing the best that we can. And I also wouldn't forget to thank the women who have joined the initiative and have donated to the flood victims. We are still pleading for any help that we can get. We'll take even from men if they can give, definitely we'll take the support. Thank you very much.
Yeah, or the women can get from their men and bring into the basket.
Whichever way.
All right, Hilda, let's bring you in and as you give us your closing remarks.
Yeah, I just want to thank organization for bringing us in, and we appreciate you so much. I hope we have provided you with the information you wanted to know. I hope you're satisfied with that, and hopefully next time you will call us again if anything.
Definitely.
So we will be working together. Thank you for seeing your face too, to know who I'm talking to.
Definitely. Thank you very much also, Hilda, for bringing us up to speed with what's happening there. I believe there are many Kenyans also as well in New York State, and it's hopeful to know that we have other Kenyans there who are looking out for each other and are doing fine. Tish, your closing remarks as we finish?
Okay, my closing remarks are, I just wish the people back home, remember, use sanitize, use soap, wash your hands, and there's something that I need to show you. Even if you don't have the health mask, the hospital mask, we have so many fabric back home. They say, the doctors like Kinalona, they say, protect yourself, even if it's with the fabric. And we are doing okay, we are trying. It's not easy, it's very hard, but with the prayers, we are going to go through it. And we are hoping that they're going to get the vaccine very soon.
Thank you, thank you. We also do hope so. Tina, thank you very much for, sharing your time and also finding, time to be here with us. We'll pray for you also, and we hope that Barry does not...
Thanks for this.
I hope maybe to see him pop up in that video, but then I think next time we'll call him. Yes. I bet he's now dead asleep.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, ladies, for finding time to join us. Viewer, we had these three ladies from the United States, Dr. Lorna D. Were in Maryland State. We had Hilda from New York State, and also we had Tish Obel from Massachusetts. Well, the name, I think I got it right there, and Tina won't have to come after me for... Yeah, so thank you very much. For comments, suggestions, or opinion, you can send that to our email. That's info@gbskenya.com. Our SMS line is 21144. Remember to use our hashtag also, GBS Morning Extra. Our Twitter handle is @KenyaGBS. This particular episode actually was streaming live on Facebook, and you can also get to share that with your friends and just spread the word that our guys in the United States are doing well, and we have the Luo women in the United States. I mean, that's a new one. I never knew about that, but still I would say kudos to all the work that you're doing back at home, and as you also continue to upgrade and also reach out to more people and, bring in more into the initiative. Well, viewer, I have exhausted my time, and I believe that you are doing well. Let's meet here again tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye-bye for now. And